on the count of 3. Said, all you gotta do is jump over this guy. 1, 2, 3, and he jumped. And he jumped as high. He had never jumped as high as he did that day. He cleared all the way over the bulldog and landed on the other side without any noise. He looked behind him, and the bulldog was still fast asleep. Barry said, oh man, I did it. I actually did it. Yeah, I just showed this bulldog who's boss. And he began to think out loud, oh man, Barry, you are the biggest, baddest bunny rabbit this world has ever seen. This bulldog doesn't stand a chance. And he walked right up to the bulldog, right up to his face, and he said, you think you're so tough? Well, you got nothing on me. In your face, bulldog! And that's when Barry realized that he had made a terrible mistake, because the bulldog began to rouse from his slumber. One eye began to open, and then soon after another one, and right in front of this bulldog was the biggest, juiciest bunny rabbit he had ever seen. Barry didn't even stand a chance. The 2 bunny rabbits pulled their ears over their eyes, and all they heard was a big chomp, chomp. They opened up their eyes, and Barry was gone. Just bits of fur flying everywhere. As soon as they saw that, they went, ah, Barry! The bulldog turned around, and he saw 2 more juicy bunny rabbits at the end of the path, and he said, if you bunny rabbits come down here, I'm gonna eat ya. And so Larry said, oh man, the crazy grandma shot Harry, the hungry bulldog ate Barry. What are we gonna do? We have to hide. And before Joe could even talk some sense into him, Larry ran as fast as he could and dove into the tall grass. Joe said, Larry, is everything okay? Larry, is it safe? Joe looked behind him, and the fox had began digging so much that the hole was almost big enough to fit him through. Joe said, hurry, Larry, you have to tell me if it's safe or not. Larry was in the tall grass, and he was looking to the left and looking to the right. He thought to himself, okay, no crazy grandma, no hungry bulldog. I'm going to take a step closer, a step further to see if it's really safe. And so he took a step further, and a step further. And then the 3rd step further, he heard a noise that made him pause and wonder. Larry said, what was that? And so he tried to pull his leg up from the mud, but he couldn't. He was stuck. He had to look at the ground, and he realized that it wasn't grass. It was a big swamp, marshland, quicksandy type thing. And he had just got stuck in the quicksand. And Larry said, I don't think this is safe. Joe, you better stay there for a second and let me figure this out. I'm going to take a step further and make sure that it's really safe. And Joe says, what? Hang on. So Larry took another step further and he went, he tried to budge, but both of his legs were now stuck. And so Larry began to panic. He said, Joe, you have to help me. I think there's some quicksand in here. What do I do? And Joe said, okay, let me think. Your legs are stuck, so, just pull yourself out. Take your hand, stick it in the quicksand, and pull yourself out. And Larry said, oh yeah, good idea. And so he took his hand and stuck it in the quicksand and went, Larry tugged, and he tugged. And this time, he was in really deep trouble because now all 3 of his legs were stuck. Larry said, I don't think that was such a good idea because now I'm really stuck. You have to help me. And Joe said, okay, hang on. Okay, I just gotta be way out of this. Larry, you didn't pull hard enough. You gotta take your other hand and stick it in the quicksand and pull your whole self out. And Larry said, are you sure this is a good idea? And Joe said, well, do you have a better one? And Larry said, no, I don't. Okay, here I go. And Joe said, before you do it, make sure you stick your hand extra deep. That way you get the whole thing when you pull yourself out. Oh yeah, good idea. And so Larry stuck his hand in. He tugged and he tugged. But this time, only his head was sticking out of quicksand, and Larry was in deeper trouble than he was before. And so he said, Joe, you have to help me. I'm going to die here. And so Joe said, okay, hang on. Let me think. Larry, what? You've got ears, right? And Larry said, Yeah? And Joe said, okay, well, because you don't have any hands anymore, just use your ears, stick your head in, and pull your whole self out. And Larry said, oh, I don't think this is gonna work, Joe. And Joe said, that fox is gonna be here any second. You gotta hurry. And Larry said, okay, here I go. And so he took a deep breath and stuck his whole head in the sand. Joe stood at the edge of the tall grass and listened for his friend. Larry? 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 Oh no, Larry! Joe was standing there all by himself, and he'd realized that all of his friends were now gone. Harry got blown up by the crazy grandma. Barry got eaten by the hungry bulldog, and Larry got swallowed by the quicksand. There was nowhere else left to go. Joe turned around, and he saw a fox was slowly wiggling his way through the rabbit hole and just waiting to get his big butt through. And as soon as he did that, Joe said, oh man, I am done for. There's no way out. What am I going to do? And so he thought, okay, maybe he's a nice fox. Maybe he doesn't even want to eat me. Maybe I'll just put some mud on myself, make myself look unappetizing as possible, and maybe I'll beg for my life and hopefully he'll be nice. The fox popped through the fence, and he looked around, and where there once stood 4 bunny rabbits, there was 1 bunny rabbit left. The big juicy carrot was still hanging in his mouth, and he was drooling all over it. And as soon as he saw Joe, he said, rabbits, come here. Joe got on his knees, put some more mud on his fur, and he begged for the top of his lungs, please, Mr. Fox, please don't eat me. I'm not even that juicy, and I haven't taken a bath in 5 days. Please don't eat me. The fox took a step closer, another step closer. And once again he repeated, rabbits, I said, come here. And so Joe said, okay, this is it. I'm done for. Say goodbye to all my friends and my mom. Well, if you're going to eat me, please at least bite my head first. That way I don't have to feel any pain. The fox took another step closer and another step closer until it was almost face to face with Joe. He said, rabbits, I've been chasing you all over the meadow for this. You got your carrot back there. Would you like it back?